Mets fans, I have a State of the Union. I want to speak to you. I know everybody's jumping off the ship. I know everybody's teetering on if this team could be competitive this year or not. I know it's looked horrible. I know people miss who was here last year and the year before. I know we want everybody fired. You guys want everybody fired. I'm not there yet. In this video, guys, I want to calm us all down. And I just want to give you guys a little bit of history on this franchise as a New York Mets fan. And I want us all to realize there is so much baseball left. There is too much baseball left for us to be panicking and going crazy. 11 losses in a row. I can't defend it, but I will try to defend it in this video. Guys, if you like New York Mets content, I am overly positive sometimes. That could get annoying to a lot of people, but I am also very, very real. If you watch my Giants content, my Knicks content, the wrestling stuff, I'm as real as it probably comes. I'm not saying I'm the greatest, but I am try to be a little more positive when I can until I feel like I can't do it anymore. Then I go the complete opposite direction. Pudgy Boys Sports Talk with a Z on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe to this video because Mets content, it's probably going to be pretty red hot with all the stuff going on, the losing streak. We've now hit 11 losses in a row. How can I sit here and defend it to anybody that wants me to defend it to them? I can't defend my stance on what David Stearns did this offseason. I still think it was the right decision to gut what was here last year, the year before that, the previous 7 years of not having the success that this franchise has had. I do give David Stearns credit for trying to move on to something different. That does not mean it's a complete failure just yet. At 7-15, the Mets look absolutely horrible. 11 losses in a row. Cannot argue that with anybody. But the only argument that I could see from people is not what David Stearns let go. Because the two players that Mets fans complained about the most, if we're all being fair with ourselves, be honest with ourselves. With Nimmo, we swapped bad contract for bad contract because Nimmo's not going to age well. And we also get rid of those final 2 years of the deal. I still make that trade today. With McNeil, majority of Mets fans were perfectly fine letting him go. I don't think there's a problem there. The two players that Mets fans complained about the most all offseason was Pete Alonso. And if you haven't taken a look at Pete Alonso over the first month of the season, he's been atrocious. He's been awful. Hitting 200 barely with 2 home runs, 16 hits. He's been absolutely horrible. So I notice a lot of Mets fans are not speaking about Pete Alonso right now because you're trying to cherry pick what Brandon Nimmo's doing. And I understand it. I completely understand it. The other guy Mets fans complained about was Edwin Diaz. He was topping out at 92 miles an hour for the Dodgers all season long, to the point now where he's about to go out for 3 months to get loose bodies removed from his elbow. At least minimum a 3-month injury. I do not ever wish injury on a player. But the two guys that you guys complained about the most have been absolutely horrible to start their careers with their other teams. Could Pete Alonso bounce back? Sure, he definitely can. As not so much. I don't like the fact that the velocity's that low at 92, was giving up hit after run after hit after run with the Dodgers. So, guys, I get it. The argument for me is not who they lost. It's who David Stearns brought in. I think that's the more healthy debate that we could have, the disagreement, the agree to disagree that we could have on that aspect of it, because I still think the right decision was made to let those players go. The other argument, the other side of the argument that we could continue having now, because you see what's going on with Alonso, he looks horrible. You see what just happened with Edwin Diaz, he's going to be out for 3 months. He might even miss the full season with the loose bodies in the elbow now, topping out at 92. Those two players were the big players that everybody wanted back, okay? The other debate that we should be having right now, and I'm willing to open up that conversation, is who he brought in to replace those guys. That's the bigger problem than we should have brought everybody back. We should have just added pitching. We should have just added a DH. We should have just did this. No. I still think to my core, and I hate using that word actually because that word's been repeated thousands of times this offseason. I believe to my core the right decision was made to allow those players to leave. That's not the argument that Mets fans should be having. The argument and the debates should be, did David Stearns bring in the right players to start the franchise he wants to build? That's what we're getting at here. I think the rebuild should have started prior to the 2025 season. But the backlash from fans, Cohen bought into it. We had to bring all these guys back. I completely get it. I think we started the rebuild/retool a year later than it should have been. That's just my opinion. Because I think if we started this thing last year, we would have been just fine now. I truly do. But I can't sit here and defend it. I cannot sit here and defend it. The Mets look awful. Am I giving up on the season right now? Absolutely not. And I think if you give up on the season, I don't know if you've seen baseball over the last few years or if you've seen baseball in the last 30 years. Just because teams get off to bad starts in April, and trust me, I get it. This is not just a bad start. You guys are dead right when you say this is more than just a bad start. This is not just it's just early anymore. I get it. Can't argue with you guys. But what I can say is April is not when the season is made. And if you want to give me the argument, oh, we lost out in the playoffs by a game last year. I can't argue that either, I guess. I don't like that argument at all. I think you play your best baseball down the stretch and you get into the playoffs. And if you're not playing your best baseball down the stretch, that's when it really bites you in the ass. Not these games in April. So the argument about, oh, we lost on April 5th. Now if we lose on September 21st, see that game on April 5th that we lost? That killed us. It just doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. You play your best baseball down the stretch of the season. That gets you into the playoffs. When you play baseball like the Mets played the last stretch of the season last year, that's when you don't make the playoffs. That's the big difference, not one game in April. But I can't sit here and tell you guys I'm giving up on the season. I just refuse to do it. 7-15 to me is not 27-55. It's just not. 7-15 is not 27-45. 27-55. We're reaching a point where we're not even in May yet, and people are just wiping their hands, giving up on the season. If you were a detractor of what David Stearns was doing this past offseason, those fans more than anybody needed to see the Mets get off to a very hot start. And at 7-4, just a week and a half ago, those fans seemed pretty content, if we're all being honest with one another. At 7-4, the Mets fans seemed pretty content with what David Stearns brought in here because we were winning. And this last 11, from 7-4 to now to 7-15, Mets fans went from, you know what, I think I'm okay with what David Stearns has done here because we're winning and it's not looking too bad, to now the complete opposite end, waiting for that little losing streak to say, knew it, should have been fired, get rid of everybody. That's the difference here that Mets fans just go through. I don't understand it. I don't understand it, and I'll never understand it. It's either you're not a fan of the stuff, stick with it, stand on business, stand on your toes, and stand that way through the entire season. If you truly feel that David Stearns is a bad general manager, if you truly feel that Carlos Mendoza is a bad manager, and somehow, some way, by some miracle, the New York Mets decide to play great baseball over the summer, get themselves in contention, the same Met fan who's complaining today, that's my biggest gripe. Like, my biggest gripe with the Met fan, and maybe this is all fans in general, but I just see it a lot with Mets fans. My biggest gripe about Mets fans right now at 7-15, 11-game losing streak, it's easy to pile on. It's easy to say the season's over because you're in a position of power right now. People like me who tell you it's early, there's still a lot of stuff that could happen to turn the season around because we've seen it over the last few years. We've literally seen it happen to team after team after team after team every single year for the last decade. Teams start slow and they get hot over the summer, make the playoffs. It happens every year. That's why if you're a fan that's given up today, stand on that, stand on business, stand on your toes. If the Mets somehow turn this around, don't start cheering now like you were here all along. Because at the end of the day, you'll never admit you were wrong. You will never give David Stearns the credit if this thing does turn around. If you're on the opposite side like me, the small percentage of us that are left that still believe in this team in 2026, there will be no better feeling than when they turn it around. That's all I'm going to say about it. And I really do believe that they will turn it around. It is too early, man. 7-15, again, is not 27-45. It's 7-15. That's 22 games. I'm horrible at math. I am horrible at math. But if you're 7 games back of first place with 140 games to play, your season is still completely alive, despite looking like the worst team in baseball over the first 22 games. The math is what you cannot debate me on. That is a straight fact. Other stuff we could debate on, the direction of the team, everything like that. But the math, you cannot debate that. You cannot debate the fact that the Mets have 140 games to play. Because it's too early in the season to be giving up like this. It's way too early. As bad as it's looked. Don't give up just yet. Don't give up just yet. If you guys like this kind of content, please like, share, subscribe to the channel. Pudgy Boys with a Z, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. We're blowing up on Instagram. Guys, get me to 4,000 subs. We'll do a giveaway. We'll have a ton of stuff going on with the New York Mets. If you're a Giants fan, Giants stuff coming out. Knicks, wrestling, WrestleMania just passed. We got a lot of stuff going on, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Till the next video.